Hello and welcome to another episode of Leaders of Transformation. Today we're going to talk about building lucrative businesses, how to start from zero. We have Dane Maxwell here with us, and Dane is a rock star. He has started several successful businesses, seven-figure businesses, and he failed a lot. He succeeded a few times, made it happen, and now teaches other people how to start from zero. I'm just really excited to have him here. Dane, welcome to the Leaders of Transformation.
Does this make me a leader of transformation, being on this podcast?
Just by being on this podcast, you are now, you have the badge of Leaders of Transformation.
Dang, that makes me really happy. I got a lot to live up to.
Well, you are definitely transforming people's lives, and certainly. And so I want to acknowledge you for that. And I'm excited for you to share how you do that. Before we do that, I always love acknowledging the people that made this happen. And so Command Your Brand, Jeremy Slate's company, Clarice, who works for him, has been helping us to coordinate this interview. And I just want to give a shout out to them. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support of this show and making this happen. And we also want to, of course, appreciate the listeners and the viewers, because you're the reason why we do this show. So thank you for being here. And I trust this is going to be very impactful to you as an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur. So Dane, let's dive in. You're known for helping people build lucrative businesses, but what do you actually want to be known for?
Well, I didn't set out to be known for that, It was really a byproduct by teaching people how to have successful relationships with their heart.
So talk about that. What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
That could take a while. I understand.
Successful relationship with your heart. When you were saying that people are transformed after getting trained by me or our systems or our programs or whatever, generally what happens is it's like a redirection of their whole life. Like they'll be going like this and all of a sudden they run into me or this and they go, poof, and they just go off that way. They're like, doo, 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 walking over, boom, and then they're up over that way. And this way is usually like, I need my own idea. I need to be clever. I need to be a genius. I need something that's never been done before. I need it to be sexy. I need it to be really slick. I need it to be complicated. I need it to take a lot of years. I needed to do this. I need just listen to people. Ask them what their problem is. Ask them the solution that they want. Then build what they told you to build. And it's night and day. It's night and day. It's almost, and there's a lot missing from that simplistic explanation that really makes it work really well. And those missing elements are like, well, let's use like an example. I want to use a really, really interesting example. Let's say you want to start like a $15,000 per month income stream. You want 15 grand a month. So that's $500 a day, every day. Okay. So we start with the end in mind in that regard. Although I never really started with income goals. I was just like, I just want to be rich, generally speaking. And, I just want to kick ass and help people and just serve them. So they're so delighted that I exist, but let's just say this 15 grand a month. Because intuitively that's where I'm being led right now. So let's just say we want to start a business and we're going to serve optometrists. We've picked optometrists to serve. And so it's COVID right now. So let's create a context to work in. People first, problem second, sell it third, build product fourth, or outsource product fourth, get a result fifth, then tell stories of these results sixth to other optometrists, and they can sign up. I'm nowhere in the equation. Me, my passions, my ideas, my interest, my expertise, you don't need any of it because you become a vessel. You reduce yourself to zero as an entrepreneur and surrender and listen. And then it's like this. Your success in business is immediate the moment you start listening.
This is very interesting because there's a lot of talk about scarcity versus abundance, having an abundance mindset. There's also a lot of talk about what is my purpose? What am I here to do in the world? And a lot of that is rooted in scarcity. It's like, how do I get more of what I want? And to what I'm hearing you say is like, what if you just actually start from zero? What if you actually reduce yourself to zero and make it not important and make other people important and start shifting the focus? It's like people say, well, I want to do this. And I do. I mean, I help people to find their purpose, turn it into profitable business. But there's a point where you have to know who you are, and then you kind of like get out of your own way to make that happen, and to create so much value in the marketplace, like you said, to create so much value in the marketplace that the marketplace actually wants to pay you back for it happily. And so, yeah, there's this shift that I hear in what you're talking about, in this simplicity. And one thing you also said is about making it complex. I think sometimes we like to make things complex so we feel important. So can you talk about even your own journey of how did you discover this for yourself? Because for you to have that kind of that level of awareness, I'm guessing that you went through your own process to discover that.
Well, I will start by saying that I don't think that you can actually anticipate the level of happiness and ease and freedom that you will feel if you switch to being of service instead of looking for your unique flavor or whatever. Like imagine for a moment. So the book that I have, Start from Zero, this brand, Start from Zero. Initially, I wrote it to help people start businesses. But what I actually end up finding is that if business owners read it, they freaking rock. Like they can reboot their entire, like if say you're in a business and you have a business and you're in a situation, you're super honest with yourself, you're just not happy with your business. You read the Start from Zero book, you apply those principles to your existing business, you could have a transformed business in 30 days because it'll show you how to listen. It'll show you how to build based on listening. And you've got people around you right now that you're serving that you're not listening to, so things are hard. And it's weird. It's like a piano teacher that's like, the student's like, I just want to play pop songs. No, you must learn Beethoven. You must learn Bach. You must learn Chopin. And then like the piano teacher down the street's teaching the pop music, and they got to line out the door. They're listening. You got one teacher who's prideful and arrogant. This is what music is. This is what it should be. This is what you should learn. And you got one teacher that's like, I want my customers to be happy. I want to listen to them. I'm going to teach them this. And then maybe one every 5 songs, you'll be like, hey, you want to know this song is actually based on this song by Bach? They could sneak it in. But no, the teacher's too arrogant. Music must be this. I'm high and tighty nose, and my income is $1,000 a month as a result. And it's just so like making your business about yourself is probably one of the worst kind of poisons you could ever do in business, in my opinion. And it's not like you should be ashamed. It's nothing like that. It's this like subtle poison that like keeps your bank account low. It keeps you in a state of anxiety because it's always about you. You got to get 3 years of credentials and a certification, and you don't need any of that stuff. I walked a 14-year-old through finding a painful problem, writing a sales letter for it, and getting a yes for a sale. 14-year-old in 3 hours. In 3 hours, she found a problem. She wrote a sales letter towards it, and she sold it to that person with that problem, and they said yes. In 3 hours, business started. If she wanted to pursue it, if the 14-year-old wanted to pursue it. So my moment of transformation from it's about me to it's about them. Luckily, I was so desperate and had no credentials, so I couldn't really make it about. I don't think I could make it about me. It was just I intuitively knew to serve, thankfully, and so, but like I just wanted to stay again. Like imagine for a moment that you're a business owner and your business is struggling, and so you're like, crap, I'm not listening. And the way you do is you don't actually necessarily even need to start listening. You just actually start looking at the things that you hate your customers are saying. Like your customer, my customers say stuff to me. I'm like, process it. God, why can't they be this way? Why can't they want this? I got my buddy of mine. He's on his way to 10 grand a day right now, $10,000 a day in sales. And you ask him what he did, and he's like, I finally listened. I gave people what they said. You shouldn't want this. and he's got a course that teaches women how to have successful relationships with men. And he's like, they shouldn't want this. They should want this or this or this. And he's like, who are you to so arrogantly state, well, your bank account reflects your ability to listen. So if we look at this, imagine you're at a table with someone and you're going to sit down and you're going to say, listen, my purpose is da da da. And I got this idea and this is what I'm really passionate about. And I want you to buy it. Holy crap, would that suck? Compared to you sit down at a table with someone and you say, tell me about you. What's your day like? How do you feel in the morning? What's going on in your world in the afternoon? What are some of the thoughts that you find yourself thinking before you go to bed? Is there a problem that you're experiencing right now that's so painful that you would pay to make it go away? And you just there and you're listening. So I did this with my pregnant girlfriend, and I asked her, so, what's your most present problem right now? She said, well, pregnancy nausea. And I could have been like, well, I'm not passionate about pregnancy nausea, and this isn't my purpose. And a lot of times I think we could use this find our purpose thing as like a protection from opening our heart and being vulnerable and seeing how you could serve. It's way more uncertain, but it's way more, it's ridiculous. It's a different kind of excitement, like to have things just happen as easily as nature grows a tree, because you just sit there. So, what's your most pregnancy nausea? So then I say, well, how are you solving this problem right now? Tell me about you. So you have this problem, how are you solving it? Well, I'm putting my hair up in a bun, I'm taking naps, I'm walking, I'm trying to drink some tea, I'm like, I'm endeared, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cute. Like, I can't get this thing to stop bleeding over here. And I got a piece of paper taped on and tried a Band-Aid, but it was too small. And, and say, so, okay, what happens if you don't get this problem solved? What happens if it persists? And she said, well, I won't be able to organize the bookshelf today, and the bookshelf's going to stay a mess. And you say, okay, so, all right, tell me then, what would be your magic wand solution? What would that look like? She says, I'd love a little a little droplet that I put under my tongue or bottom of my tongue, and it just helps my nausea. Great. What would you pay for that? Well, I'd pay $25. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of low. Would you pay 50? She's like, no, I'm cheap. Okay. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to build this product. This is too cheap. I can't. How are you going to you get $25. You're probably going to have $8 in product cost. That means you got $17 or something in money to advertise, and your cost to acquire a customer is on average $30 to $100 online, depending on the niche, for one customer. Sometimes more if you're selling like ERP software, you're probably way up there. Like if you're selling, anyway, if you're selling like makeup kits or anything like this, it's nice to understand the metrics of business, cost per acquisition and lifetime value, and then understand cost per acquisition across different industries. Like, what's the average chiropractor spending to acquire a customer? You look at this cost to acquire a customer opens up a whole new world. I'm glad it slipped out of my mouth so I could talk more about it. Because like if you think about Blockbuster and look at Netflix, Blockbuster was paying like $80, $40 to $80 to acquire a customer, and they would have to wait because it's like $4 for a rental. They'd have to wait a while to make it back. Netflix was paying $13 to acquire a customer. They were profitable a month and a half in because they were $9 a month. So you look at those numbers, that was 4 years before Blockbuster tanked. You could just look at those numbers and know Blockbuster's doomed. Cost per acquisition and lifetime value. And those numbers are public. You can look them up. AOL, they cratered their business because they didn't pay attention to their CPA, and they just mailed these CDs out everywhere. And everybody had AOL CDs all over the country. Their cost to acquire a customer was extremely high. And so, cost to acquire a customer, lifetime value. Look it up. Like go down a rabbit hole. Like cost per acquisition per industry, by industry. Like it's very, very exciting. One of my favorite people I ever met, he said he thought marketing was all like about emotion, like intuition. Yeah. And then he met these guys that did marketing all by spreadsheets, all by numbers. target market, women, swimsuit, this size, click-through rate, cost to acquire, lifetime value, next niche, and like they're just like, okay, this one's profitable, this isn't, this one's profitable, this isn't. They're just machines. It's a wild world. It's a wild world. It exists. I just want people to know it exists. And one of the best ways to instantly, like almost instantly, get confidence on your business is to turn any problem you have into a numbers problem, turn it into a math problem. So like for me, I have a product, and I'm insecure about it, and I'm in the process of correcting that insecurity. And the insecurity I had was that it wasn't good enough. I didn't think my product was good enough. So I put my hand on the back of my neck right here, create heart-brain coherence, take a couple breaths, then I ask, what numbers could I look at or create to have confidence with this instead of insecurity? And it immediately comes to your intuition, speaks to you. You know, I said, well, set a goal that every customer that joins your program gets a sale in 90 days. 100% of our students get their first sale in 90 days. And my program would be killer if we had that number metric. So I got it right down. I wrote down the goal. Okay, how can we do that? What are key behavior? So you asked me how my moment of transformation, and I wanted to give you guys the visual of sitting at a table with someone and not making it about you, and the joy that you would feel knowing that you're serving on the deepest of deepest levels. And I never did anything with the pregnancy nausea because up on opportunity, cost, focus of time. And had I wanted to create that, I would have partnered with a naturopathic, acupuncturist, doctors, and I would have had them all combined into a concoction. I would have had them created. I would have given them 20% of the profit of the business. And then I would have had my product. I didn't have to make it. And so I think one of the biggest things I could impart to the world in a business sense is what I would call the holy grail of business. And it's these three things. A very clear customer wants a very clear result, so we give them a very clear mechanism. A very clear customer wants a very clear result, so we give them a very clear mechanism. It's a very exciting framework, because when you live in this context of this framework, you can, like, it's very easy to have fear strike and insecurity strike, but like this framework can save you from that. So let's look at like Weight Watchers, women in their 40s plus or minus 10 years. The result is they want to lose 10 pounds or more, and the mechanism is a point counting system. They didn't even create anything new. They just reorganized caloric information. They're $1 billion brand. And if you go to weightwatchers.com, you'll see women up there, and you'll see the result they got. And then you will see Weight Watchers that did it. The clear customer is right there. The clear result they got is right there. And then the mechanism for point counting systems below it. But they lead with customer. They lead with result. If you go to Dave Ramsey, his clear customer is couples in debt. The clear result is become debt free. And the mechanism is called the debt snowball. Pay off your high interest credit rate first. Now, in the financial space where it's highly competitive, we're talking like you got financial gurus everywhere left and right. And Dave Ramsey comes out non-complicated, very simple. Where are you guys struggling? Oh God, couples, we're in debt. Everybody's in debt. He listens. He's like, okay, what do you want? We want to be debt free. Boom. Okay, because he wasn't a guy in debt. I think he was crushing it. He was always good with money. But so then he finds out people were in debt, clear results. So then mechanism, okay, how can we help them do this? Okay, well, where are they getting hurt the most? The highest interest rate credit cards, those got to go. And like, there we go. He has a whole business created and started from that. And he got Financial Peace University. And then he networked with churches to sell his products. And like, no financial gurus were going through the churches. Dave Ramsey's worth studying. The way he launched that, freaking nuts. Partnered with churches, and then members are paying $300 a pop, and there's like 100 people in these rooms. He's making like 30 grand a church. A lot of churches in the country, right? So, but you got clear customer, clear result, clear mechanism. I paid for that, by the way. Maybe it was only 150, and I really did like it. It was a good course. I got value from doing that thing with Dave. So clear customer, clear result, clear mechanism. That's really exciting. It's really exciting. Nicole, it's very exciting. Like you know, let's look at, yoga, clear result, feel great in their body, look good naked. Mechanism, yoga. Okay, in-person yoga. COVID hits, boom, craters many businesses. Some businesses have the ability to pivot the mechanism. Some don't. So you got a clear customer that still wants a clear result, but in-person yoga, the mechanism is now crushed. Well, if you still have the same customers that still want the same results, you may not be out of business. But a lot of us entrepreneurs think our business is our mechanism. So the mechanism gets ruined. We think we're out of business, but no, you're in the business of providing a customer a result. And if you can stay there, you're like, okay, what do my customers want? So yeah, Zoom yoga, Zoom dance. I think there's probably even some massage therapists teaching people how to do self-massage on Zoom, you know? So that is that.
Yeah, it's like chiropractors even. You know, I've seen that where they're actually teaching people how to self-adjust
Nice.
in the moment, right? For the moment. Yeah, they don't want to eliminate their and have their whole business over there. And there are chiropractors that are open still, but they're supplementing it with that for those that don't feel comfortable going into a clinic at this point. So yeah, absolutely. I love what you said there, just breaking it down. Simplicity. Genius is taking the complex and making it simple. And oftentimes we just make it so complicated that, you know, that it's kind of like that protection mechanism, like you were talking about, is what's underneath it. If I'm making this complicated, why am I making this complicated? What am I afraid of? What am I holding myself back from? What do I not want to see? What do I not want to do, you know,
Yes.
about myself?
And if you're having fear, it's not personal. And likely your conscious mind didn't choose the fear. Like unconsciously you may struggle with inadequacy or insignificance. And so if that's any subtle impression in your nervous system, like it's been in mine, like it is in mine, like I still have to be aware and notice, oh, this is me feeling it. This is me, not even me. This is the felt pattern of insignificance. It's going to have a response of fear. It's that there's going to be fear, because if you have the belief, feelings come from belief systems, from what I've been able to track. So let's say you have like a miscarriage and you believe we all get one chance at life, crushed by a miscarriage. If you have a miscarriage and you believe that souls all have a purpose and they all incarnate for a certain reason, and some actually were designed to be miscarried, that was their karma. And like, let's say you had that belief system, you'd still be probably sad, but it's not nearly on the same. This is the same with, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I was actually having like some fears. Oh, I'm going to screw my kid up as a father, you know? And then someone really kindly said, well, you know, you don't have to worry about this. Just love them. They've signed up here to have certain soul lessons. They'll get those regardless. You show up and do your best, love them, you'll be fine. I'm like, oh, that's a great belief. I'm going to keep that. That really helps me out on a feeling level. So, but let's say you have the belief of many entrepreneurs, myself included, insignificant, inadequate, or unworthy, or worthless. Well, that's gonna then you're gonna bring a project in. You're gonna say, I'm gonna find my purpose, you know, which is really like, I want to find a way to love people. That's what people are usually saying. I want to know how to love people, right? So, but then it's like, okay, I want to love people, because that's what business is really, is extending love to another human. And it's very, there's a lot of manipulation out there, but that's my view of it. So you extending love to another human. But then you've got, say, insignificance as a core impression. So now you got an idea. Like I'm working on a number of businesses right now, and I'm just in bliss. I'm like, oh my God, I've got like 3 or 4 projects going on right now, and I'm on full tilt on all of them, and they're all like just deeply connected to. It's just great. It's amazing. I'm also terrified. One of them just wicked knocks me out. Like even mentioning the name of the business, it's called Result Jam, and it's a student tracking software. And it's just going to transform the culture of the course industry. It's going to show people how to lead with results, track results, encourage results, and collectively help people face the fear of being accountable to a result. Okay, it's a big culture shift that I want to bring, that I know, that wants to come through the vessel that is called me. And it's a problem out there that I'm so deeply passionate about. Low student success rates, low customer success rates with products, that I want to figure out and solve this problem. And I can feel the universe supporting me with it. Like I get signals and signs, and sometimes a bird will do something that's weird. And I'm like, okay, I got to pay attention to this, because I'm tuned into that. I feel supported by the universe with this mission. Is it about me? Certainly my insignificance wants to make it about me, so I have a chance to feel significant. But no. This is about loving people. This is about really helping them. So in this instance, if you have fear, like so with Result Jam, like when I say it, I'm like, oh God. So I hire a coach, and I say, listen, I need help with the fear coming up with result jam. The fear is not personal. It's fired from impressions of worthlessness and insignificance. So what I do is I use therapists and coaches for my emotional issues in my business, because on an energetic level, result jam holds a certain frequency, infinite potential, tremendous care for another human being. So I'm going to take my self-image and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to go sit down in the result jam energetic current. Hey, spit me up and out. And I'm gone. I can't even stay there. I can't even stay there. So then what I do is I pray. And I don't pray to a religion. I pray to the problem, the current, the divinity of the seed in that problem. And I say, please change me to be able to handle this problem. Please change me. I would say, Heavenly Father. It's not a Christian context. It's just you do anything you want to pray, but pray is such a powerful frequency, and you pray to be changed. Don't whine and wish for it to be easier. It's okay if you're doing that. It's a natural human thing. Of course you want things to be easier, but pray. So I say, pray, transform my soul to be able to handle the energetic frequencies of result jam, for me to be the vessel to carry this into the world, for me to love others so deeply in ways that others may have been afraid to before. Show me how to love powerfully, confidently. Show me how to handle the greatest fears I have with this business. Show me, transform me so I can handle the current and be the vessel that brings this energetic transmission to the world. And I would say that, and I do it, and I'm waking up and showing up every day for this thing. And so I might say the word result jam, and my neck goes, result jam. Okay, I can do it. No. And the only thing I need to do is hold that no. No, I can't. Who's I in the first place there? And I just sit there, I say, I will. Result jam will exist. It will exist. It will exist. It will exist. And it's all rooted in people first, problem second, sell it third, build it fourth, get a result fifth, scale that thing sixth. And, we got our first beta customers on, they're using it. They're like, we love this. This is so much safer, so much operational efficiency. I might not have to hire an employee anymore. Yes. Wait, it's working? What? Let me see how I can sabotage this. No, let me call my therapist again.
That is awesome, Dane. Thank you. It's so powerful, just the process. And I think a lot of people can relate to that process that you go through. And it's so interesting because even some of the questions that I had for you is you answered them intuitively through that, in terms of when a project stalls, you get stuck with it. I recently had a project that was stalling, and I was just the first thing you want to look at is the problem itself. You want to look at what everybody else is doing. That's by nature. But I looked at it, who am I being? How am I showing up? What is it in me that is preventing this from flowing and moving the way it needs to move? And as soon as I got myself out of the way, started doing some clearing on myself, all of a sudden it was things started to happen. I'm oh my goodness. And like you said, even just praying and saying I just want to be a vessel for this. I just want to let it flow through me. Let me be a pure vessel for this. So powerful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. And I'm a human being. So I have desires. And the best thing I can do is allow them. So wealth is a desire. And so I receive what I give. I do not deny the universe giving me wealth for solving problems. And I also desire an enormous home that I can buy that's just millions of dollars, probably. Maybe not. It could be a limiting belief. Maybe it's only $10, why not? Guy bought a home with a red paperclip, for crying out loud, back in the day. I don't know if you remember that guy. But, I have a home that my entire family and extended family can all stay at for extended periods of time. And I'm just.
So that's the why. That's why you want the big home, so you can have your family there?
Yeah. Next to a lake, people are swimming, breakfast is being made.
Yeah. It's all about, the reason why I say that is because some people, and I know that when I was growing up, I found myself in this business organization. I was part of network marketing for many years. And it
Yeah.
was like the big house and the big cars and the diamonds and the da, 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 all that stuff. And I realized at one point, it was like, I actually don't care about any of those things. So you have them. What do they mean? It's only what they represent that really matters. And if it represents, I am significant, I am successful, my identity, I see that a lot. It's like people's identity is wrapped up in their success, how much is in their bank account. And then if that's taken away, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, who am I? I don't know who I am anymore because it was all wrapped up in this. So how do you, I mean, obviously you just simplify things and you've kind of already answered it. But if we talk about that idea of identity, when you work with entrepreneurs, there is the conception, the perception in the entrepreneurial space about hustle and make lots of money and be rich and have the Lamborghinis and the whatever, and that's success. And then you put it all on social, or if you can't afford it, then you rent it and you put it on social. But it's like all about that. And so how you come in with this very heart-centered perspective on it, I'm sure you run up against a lot of beliefs, faulty beliefs, or beliefs that just don't serve people ultimately.
Well, no, I attract the goodies, if you will. I attract the heart-centered folks, people that, I don't got Lambos, so I don't bring in people wanting Lambos. But do you want to ask your question? I'm very excited for what you're leading towards.
Yeah, I'm just, talking about this idea of when people come with an identity that is tied into what they can accomplish, what they can have, what it means, that may not be actually truly serving their greater purpose. So they get caught up in that.
Okay, so identity with compassion is a construct created on autopilot until awareness is brought to it in the mind. So awareness is generally, so the most exciting thing I could probably ever tell anybody, period, is that identity is only a thought. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a very real thought, and it's a deep thought, and it may extend into your personality. But guess what? Identity is just a thought. So like the very worst thing that you think about yourself, the very worst thing I think about myself, all I have to remind myself is that's not me. That's just a thought. And as soon as I say that, there's a huge vastness that opens up. That's like the person that feels worthless, that then deeply desires worth, is only reinforcing their worthlessness. So when we take action from this place of identity, and all credit of this goes to my mentors that taught me identity, when we pursue something to correct an identity, or out of identity, we reinforce the identity. So like if you have all this worth because you got the things that are status symbols of whatever you associate with worth, you actually are reinforcing worthless. And I did that. And I still do that. And I wake up to it with awareness every day. But what we need to do, and now this is twofold. So there's worthless and worthy. And then there's the place that notices both of those. And the place that notices those is indescribably beyond worth. And it feels like if you get the chance to touch, like if you go to the worst thought you have about yourself and you just say, this is not me, this is just a thought. And you'll probably have, oh yeah, it is. You got it. And even that is not you. That's just a thought. And you start to see the deep identifications that the mind has, and it roots you down and ties you down to the ground with all these roots, and then you can't fly. And you realize that every thought you've been thinking about yourself is actually not fuel at all, but it's actually a root tying you down to the ground, so you're not even able to fly. So what you do is you look at the worst thing you think about yourself and you say, this is not me, this is just a thought. And for a moment, you'll open up into the vastness. And this vastness is the place that, in my opinion, poets like Rumi wrote his poems, beyond the field of right and wrong. Beyond the realm of right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there. And you get into this infinite place where worth, it doesn't even make sense as a word. And then from that place, you're flying. And then from that place, you can kind of allow life to animate you in the way that life is calling you to be animated in, which is that sense of purpose that you're looking for, that we look for. But this place, it's very simple. You just access it by noticing you're not what you think. The nice part about this is that, and also not so nice, is like, if you think you're handsome or worthy, you're not those things either. But it's the place that we fight to live in may feel good for a while, but once you get there, and you may need to get there to realize it, once you get there, you'll realize this place of, I don't know, it's indescribable. It's ineffable, as they say, in its description, is a place that you can let life animate you. And that place will want you to have a family if that's what you want. If that's what's on your soul's trajectory, it'll want you to have a big old house if that's the place that creates for your family. Which sort of things I'm speaking about mine there. There's a lot I'm learning and figuring out about life, but I can tell you that if I'm thinking a thought that's hurting me or not serving me or limiting me or putting me in a place of victimhood or putting something outside of my control, it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long. The place that lasts the longest is in relationships. Intimate relationships tend to be the place where I have the least sense of safety. And I'm doing some pretty significant work to create strides there to surrender in there. But if you're thinking, like, for example, oh, COVID's here, so I can't start a business. I mean, one of my businesses did like 70 grand just a month or two ago, and it was a nice month. And then you know what I use that money for? I'm making a dream virtual reality video game.
Oh, wow.
It is so fun. I was like, you know what? This VR headset right here, I'll talk to you from VR. I'll see you later, Nicole. And this is an Oculus. And I'm on these games. And I'm playing these games, and they have all these hopes and all these dreams and all these promises. You're going to play this and play with this and multiplayer this and all this. And then you load the game, you install the game, you play the game, and you're just usually left with disappointment. You're like, how is this the best-selling VR game? This sucks so bad. I am so dissatisfied. It is not even funny. This sucks my soul to spend a minute playing this crap. So you can tell there's some passion. So that would be called a authentic urge to solve problems. You know what? I'm making a VR game. So craziest stuff has happened around this. So, I mean, I've given you like a framework where you can go and sit down with someone and ask them about their problem and stuff. And then this would be a framework of following an authentic urge around a deep dissatisfaction you have. So I have a deep dissatisfaction around this. So check out how this is falling together. So the game cost me 20 grand a month to develop. That's enough to make my toes squirm. So how many months is this going to be? Okay, only 3 or 4. Okay, I can handle that. Talk to my accountant. Hey, how are we doing? He's like, you got a bit in taxes you're going to pay this year. I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend more money on this VR game. So everything's working out. So very interestingly, I get this inspiration to send an email to my list. Hey guys, let's hang out. I'm going to teach you my secret scheduling system that I use to schedule. And so we get on, I walk them through this amazing schedule system. It includes heart-brain coherence around all the different blocks of time. And so your heart's in harmony with the whole week. And it's pretty cool. And I've done it like 3 times because usually I just do it too fast. So I just like write it all in. I'm like, is this good? Yep, good. A lot of times I do my schedule. I ask my heart, I look at my whole schedule for the week and I ask my heart, are you happy with this schedule? A lot of times they'll say no until I put music on there where I'm playing music. So I put music on there. Then I ask heart, are you happy with the schedule? Yes. And I don't think people create schedules, let alone look at their schedules, let alone ask their heart if they're happy with the schedule. So I teach people this system for free on a call. And on the call, I don't know why, some part of me is like, guys, I decided I'm going to make a VR game. It's going to be really fun. There's a guy in there. He goes, message me. I make VR games. I have ready-made multiplayer VR code base ready to go. It's the best multiplayer VR available currently. Okay. So I messaged the guy. We get on a call that night. He's like, yeah, man, we can develop this. within a week, I had this team developing the game. I didn't even have to go hire anybody. I didn't have to go find an employee. Fell in my lap. Then as we're building the game, Oculus themselves, the creators of VR, contact this guy and they say, hey, we're wondering if you're making any great games and you'd like to enroll them in an incubator so we can accelerate their growth. He's like, as a matter of fact, I am. So he calls me, he's like, yo, man, so Oculus contacted me and they want to put a game through their incubator to make the game grow much faster. And we're wondering if, and I was wondering if we could use your game. Yes. He's like, well, I was wondering what you'd give me in return, because I know you don't want to give any equity. And I usually give equity, but I listened to my heart on this, and my heart said, this game will be the biggest thing you ever do. I was like, I have a tough time grokking that. But games sell hundreds of thousands of copies if they're good. That would be the biggest. I haven't done that yet. So, but I was like, don't give any equity away. This is the biggest thing you ever do. This is yours. This is yours. This is yours. Yours, yours, yours. Your companies, you're generous, etc. This is yours. To that result jam, I'm giving equity to the developer and things like this. But this is like, no way, because this is what this business calls for. So he said, but I don't want you to have any equity. So what do you want to give? And I said, how about a 3% revenue royalty? He's like, whoa. I was like, 1% for you, 1% for the developer, and 1% for your project manager. They're all awesome people. They're really great. I want them to get rich from this and have passive income after they put their heart and soul in this. He's like, that's very generous. So, and I'm happy with that. So, we make $1 million in profit. 30,000 is to them. It's not too bad, and they're really thrilled with this. And so then we're going along. He says, oh, hey, by the way, we got a designer for the game to make all the art. By the way, he's the same designer that designed all the art on the LucasArts films for Star Wars.
Wow.
And that's where we are. So Oculus 2 just released their headset. So white headset, it's $299. I highly encourage everybody to buy one. Even if you don't like VR, put it on, watch Netflix in there, watch video in there, see a scope of the future. It's a wild world. It's very exciting. I play golf with my dad in VR while he's in Chicago, and we get beach with each other during COVID. VR is really exciting. It's only $299. You can pre-order them now. The white Oculus 2 headset. It's 8 times more powerful than the one I just showed you. But my game is going to be slated for about December 11th if we land on time. And it's an amalgamation of all the favorite parts of all of my favorite games of all time put into one with nothing I don't like. And that's how I'm making it. And I'm fierce, it's very interesting with this game. So I'm fiercely passionate about it, fiercely protective of it being my game mechanic and the way that I want it to work. And I'm open if I like it. But for the most part, it's very interesting how passionate I'm like, well, the software, I'm not sure we could do this with my game. I'm like, this, no exceptions. It's pretty sweet. And then also, one other interesting thing to note with this VR game, with it being an authentic urge, is I have no ceiling. There's no upper limit that I have with this game. With Start From Zero brand or book or the software business, I'm like, let's not get those more than 10 million. Let's keep those. But with the game, for some reason, I'm like, doesn't matter, big as possible. So, I'm still figuring things out and kind of, just another soul on this journey. But one thing I definitely seem to have down is staying in a line flow and a creative pursuit, not letting things stop me, not letting thoughts limit me, and not letting something like COVID, get me down for too long if it did, and take the loss, and then but don't lose the lesson, and etc.
Brilliant, Dane. This has been awesome. Just to even help you unpack it. I love the practicality of this, is unpacking it. And so this is going to be one of those episodes that people are going to want to listen to over and over again, to just all of the things that you unpack there. I'm excited for your game. And I love just actually experiencing how you're channeling that, right? And noticing this distinction where you say, no, this is actually mine. And it's not coming from a place of necessarily ego, but it's actually a directive. There's a difference between I want to hold it tight and I'm just clear that this is actually something that I'm supposed to do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yeah. So very exciting to see all of that. I would encourage our listeners to go to startfromzero.com. You can learn more about what Dane is doing. He has his book is available there. We'll make sure, of course, this is in the show notes as well. But his podcast, he also does live mentoring on his podcast where he goes through and mentors entrepreneurs like 5 an hour and so forth. So it's really fun stuff. And so I would encourage you to go check out what he's doing. Dane, again, thank you so much for being here and sharing a little bit of your heart and your light with us. And it's been truly inspiring. And I know that even just listening is going to start to transform the way people see themselves, the way they see others, and the way they see the world around them, which is what I'm all about. So again, thank you for that. And thank you to our listeners for being here. Go to leadersoftransformation.com. Show notes will be there, all the details and how you can connect with Dane. And also let us know how you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please share it with a friend. If you have an entrepreneur friend or somebody that is trying to figure out how to navigate through this COVID situation, maybe their job got eliminated and they don't know what to do, send them this episode so you can give them some inspiration, maybe some clarity on how they can move forward, and also some practical steps, which Dane will be able to provide them so that they can move forward. So I encourage you that. We appreciate you and we look forward to seeing you. Yes, did you want to say one more thing?
Yeah, that question process I did with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
What's your present problem? How do you solve it? What happens if you don't? What's your magic wand? So that 5-question process is in the book on startfromzero.com. If they want to get it, that stories in the book as well. And then I just also wanted to say, if you're still listening, if you're patient, if you've been patient enough to listen, I just want you to hear from one human to another that you matter, and that your dreams matter, and your heart matters, and your thoughts matter, and whatever it is you're doing. Whether you're at 10 million a year, remember that, you're often the one that's forgotten because you're caring for everyone else. You matter. And if you're just getting started, I want people to know they matter.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. And we appreciate you, and you matter. And so again, as I say, thank you for being here. Thank you to our listeners and our viewers. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Leaders of Transformation real soon.